Will Anderson's ready to go for Sunday. So am I, and I hope you are too. Let's talk about this Texans team as they get ready for the Indianapolis Colts on Sunday. The season opener, the 2024 season is up on us right around the corner. Lots of conversation about Will Anderson. Plus, Anthony Richardson does not scare me, and he should not scare you either. Don't be fooled by the hype for the Colts running back that plays quarterback. Yes, we're going to go there and talk about that. So much more, but let's get to the big news of the day from the Houston Texans is Will Anderson not on the injury report. Not on the injury report and healthy as can be. Check it out right there. One player on the injury report, poor MJ Stewart. He was the only guy. He was the lone fella right there on that injury report. Just poor old MJ Stewart. And Will Anderson, good to go, ready to go, and healthier than he was last year as well. Anderson played that final game of the regular season banged up a little bit. Just not himself, not 100% himself, not anywhere close. And Landry Locker actually asked him about that today, and here's what Will Anderson had to say.
Film now, I get so mad 'cause I'm like, bro, like I couldn't even do what I wanted to do, but I still was out there, man. So it's gonna feel different. It's gonna be a lot more confidence going into the game, knowing that I'm healthy, knowing that I'm good this year.
A lot more confidence. He's healthier heading into this one, and Anderson is set for a huge season. He was fantastic last year as a rookie. One of the tops in pass rush win rate, ESPN's stat. One of the tops in run stop win rate, another stat from ESPN. Just very good. And obviously, we know he ended up winning the Defensive Rookie of the Year award. And a lot of times, guys don't have some sort of massive jump. I mean, I went back and looked a few weeks ago at Baby Bosa after he was the Defensive Rookie of the Year. Some of the other defensive linemen that the next year, what did they do? What was the jump? How did they improve on the previous year? And a lot of times it's just a small statistical improvement. Now, I was looking at sacks, but there's so many different ways that you can look at it. Will Anderson, if he can put together something better than what he put on the field last year, he's going to have an incredible season. Again, pass rush win rate, run stop win rate, near the top in both of those categories as a rookie. Now he's got a year of seasoning under his belt. He's got a incredible running mate opposite him at the defensive end spot. It just sets up to be a huge year for Will Anderson. I don't know if the sack numbers are going to be there. I feel pretty good that the sack numbers are going to show up and that he's going to be pretty consistent from a pass rush standpoint. Again, the big jump doesn't usually happen year 1 to year 2 with sack numbers for guys. When I was looking at Defensive Rookie of the Year guys in their second year in the league, but if he is just consistently a hand grenade that the offense has to deal with, that's going to go a long way for this Texans team and a long way to just creating chaos that the other 10 guys clean up. That's what Will Anderson's going to bring to the table. Now, Anderson, I thought, had a great approach, a great mindset as he talked about this matchup, and I want to play D'Amico Ryans talking about Anthony Richardson and some of the film that is or isn't out there. And then I want you to hear Will Anderson kind of talk about the Colts, and I think there's a thread through these. Here's the head coach.
Everything. We look at everything. No, Richardson had a sample size of plays, not many. So still a young player in this league, still has a lot ahead of him, all right, a lot of ball ahead of him, but we just go off of what we see. That's all we can do. Focus on what we've seen on tape, and try to work from there.
So Anthony Richardson has played 4 games in the NFL. He left 2 of those games early. He left the Titans game early and he left the Texans game early. So he has played about 3 total games in the NFL. There's not a lot that you can garner, that you can take from that time in the NFL. Adding on to that, he has played half a game with Jonathan Taylor. He's played half a game with Jonathan Taylor. So there's not a lot. You're just guessing if you're thinking about film or how Steichen's going to do this or how Steichen's going to do that with the Colts and their offense. You're just kind of guessing. Maybe you're using a little bit of Philadelphia, but there's not anything that shows you, hey, this is exactly how Anthony Richardson's going to operate. This is exactly how Jonathan Taylor's going to operate with Anthony Richardson. So there's nothing to go off of when you're trying to figure that out. And that kind of was sticking in the back of my mind as Will Anderson talked a lot about this matchup with the Colts, and I want you to listen to him here.
Just another game, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to be a tough game. They have great players. We have great players. It's going to be a dogfight. But at the end of the day, it's a game. You know what I'm saying? It's the game that we've been playing since we were little kids, and that's how we have to look at it. And we have to go in being prepared. We have to go in knowing our job, being detailed, and keeping our expectation high. And it's really just all about us and what we do and how we go out there and play.
That's that last little bit to me that really jumps off the page. It's all about us and how we go in there and how we play. It's not about game planning for the Indianapolis Colts early on. It's about executing the way that they want to play defense. And Anderson probably is chief amongst that. The aggressiveness, coming off the edge, stuffing runs, forcing Richardson to make quick decisions or forcing Richardson out of the pocket so the guys can go clean those things up for him. That's what's going to be imperative on Sunday. You can't sit here, even if you're DeMeco Ryans and you're this defensive mastermind, you can't sit here and game plan for an offense that you have never seen, for an offense that you haven't seen put together yet. And this Colts team has not put together this offense ever. This is a totally different. They have a healthy offensive line. They currently have a healthy Anthony Richardson. Jonathan Taylor had a full offseason in this system and is playing with Anthony Richardson for the first time. They've got a more depth at wide receiver than they did last year, and it is just not something that you can game plan for and get ready for from that standpoint. So it's very much about how the Texans operate, execute, and take care of their business, more so than it's about, the chess match with the Colts. The Texans will see how, a quarter and a half into this game, how things are going, or as the second quarter is kind of getting there, they'll see how things are going, and then you can adjust in game. But it would be foolish and sort of a waste of time to spend too much time trying to game plan for things that the Colts haven't shown you, for things Colts may or may not do on film. So that's one of my biggest things. That was something that Will Anderson talked about that really kind of stuck with me after we talked to him in the locker room today was, hey, this is very much about the Texans executing what they do more so than it's about stopping the Colts and what they try to accomplish. And that's also something when you think back to some of the stretches where they had some good defense last year. I can remember Matt Burke hammering that point home. Like, yes, it's about game planning. Yes, it's about getting ready for our opponents. But it's also about making sure that the Texans execute to the level that the Texans want to execute when they start operating their defense. So that's something to keep in mind as you start to watch on Sunday. Now, obviously, as you start to see stuff, you go to counteract that within the game. I'm not saying don't ever game plan or don't game plan at all. We'll get to Anthony Richardson, a conversation about him here in just a moment. Want to talk to the comment section. Appreciate you watching live. Appreciate you watching after the fact if you're watching after the fact. Good to see you. Rick, yes, real football is right around the corner. Arthur's pumped about it as well. Daniel, good to see you. H-Town's Ultimate. BG, appreciate you. Rich Boy, thank you for jumping in. Raining out where Haluda is. Josh Phillips, ready to go. John G, good to see you in here, my friend. Happy to meet you. I got here late. Do you think Will Anderson is at, say, 90%? No restrictions in practice makes me feel like he's a lot closer to 100 than 90. That's kind of how I'm at. My hair looks terrible. That's kind of where I'm at with Will Anderson is if no restrictions in practice, he's doing the full thing. Full participant in practice, he's closer to 100 than he is 90. And the way he talked about it makes me feel like he's closer to 100 than he is 90. Rich Boy asked, who do you think will be the biggest factor on the defense, Hunter Anderson or Stingley? I feel like Hunter is the hand grenade, and he's the guy that excuse me, Anderson's the hand grenade. You just kind of roll him into the offense. They got to try to stop him, and things just go to hell when they can't stop Will Anderson. And he's in there ruining rushing plays. He's in there ruining pass plays. Hunter's cleaning things up after Anderson flushes guys out. You saw a lot of sacks last year. Bernard, Collins, Sheldon Rankin, some of the other defensive linemen success because Will Anderson was pushing guys over to them. So, Rich Boy, I say that it's going to be Will Anderson. Does Bobby call off-tackle run plays to get Tunsil mauling the rookie Latu? It's a good question. Happy to meet you. You should run at Latu, the rookie defensive end that the Colts have. You should run at him. He's an excellent pass rusher, but he leaves a little bit to be desired in stopping the run. Now, running to the outside, probably a better endeavor than running up the middle when Grover Stewart and DeForest Buckner are sitting in the middle of the Colts defensive line. Not to say that you shouldn't at least try it, apply it, and see what you can do, but getting to the outside with Joe Mixon, getting out there, letting Tunsil and some of those other big uglies get out there and pulling and blocking and getting Mixon downhill versus some secondary members. And that's kind of the exciting thing about this offense. And that's what you kind of hope that Bobby Slowick and company can put together. And yeah, Latu, he cannot run stop like some of the other big time young defensive talents in the league. So unless that's changed from college, and if that's changed in a short amount of time, man, he's even better than we thought he was going to be. Paul can't wait for Sunday. Go Texans, he says. Eric says, Cody the GOAT shoots. Catch another live. Let's get it. I'm gonna say that was your auto correct. I'm not the GOAT. One day maybe I'll be the GOAT. I'd love to be the GOAT one day. I'm not the GOAT. Not the GOAT. Kevin says, you're more worried about us stopping the Colts run or the Texans executing their run offense? More worried about stopping the Colts run because of a healthy offensive line for the Colts and a healthy Jonathan Taylor and an in-system Jonathan Taylor. Remember, he came back after the break, after they got his contract correct, and then he had to sort of learn the system, get executed in there. Then he got hurt, and then he came back, and after I think he's probably had a little bit of time to put something together, he rattled off that game he did against the Texans last year. And so I am intrigued to see if he's even better than he has been because he's got a full understanding of the system and that offensive line is healthy as well. Charles says, Cody, what bugs me is what if we are true Texans fans, then we should support and trust the organization and the decision they make. I agree, Charles. If you, I guess, I mean, look, it's healthy, well, I don't agree then. Healthy criticism and healthy speculation is warranted. It makes the world better. How do you think the interior defensive line will handle Jonathan Taylor, says Socrates? Look, it's going to be the interior defensive line. Anderson and Hunter have to get in there and make something happen. And then Azeez Al-Shire and Jalen Petrie are two players that I'm really paying attention to in slowing down that Colts rushing attack. Who would you like to be the primary defender against a QB like that? Petrie. I mean, Petrie's going to help you. Hopefully the ends take care of the business, and Richardson tries to kind of, mosey out of something, but the ends are there, and you can get him for a short gain or you can get him for a loss. But Azeez Al-Shire and Petrie are the guys. I don't know that you're going to necessarily spy Anthony Richardson and put a guy specifically on him, but Petrie and Azeez Al-Shire are the guys that I would say, hey, they're going to be in charge of taking care of Anthony Richardson when he starts moving. DeRhino, good to see you. Appreciate you stopping by. Space Age, good to see you. Appreciate you jumping in. Eric asked, how many plays into the game before things get chippy? Seems like Indy's more riled about this rivalry than we are. Seems like we're paying them no mind based off the recent player interviews. Yeah, the Texans don't really view it much as a rivalry. I mean, I think there's been some conversations in the offseason. CJ Stroud showed a lot of respect to those guys. In fact, the Texans have shown a lot of respect to the Colts this week. And look, the Colts should feel like there's a little bit of extra juice to this because the Texans ended their season last year. Why wouldn't you have a little bit of extra to this? So we'll get to some more of your comments, joys, questions, and concerns here in just a moment. But I really want to ask you something. And I just can't figure it out. Why do people who cover football, and people I like, respect, I enjoy their work, but why do people who cover football feel like Anthony Richardson is a scary player in the National Football League? Why should defenses be scared of Anthony Richardson? He's never stayed healthy in his career, and that may not matter for this one game. So I talk about the health. That may not matter. All they need in Indianapolis is him to stay healthy for one game and then stay healthy for another one. But in a season, he's never stayed healthy in a season. He's played in 4 NFL games. He's left 2 of those early. In the game that he did play, that Colts fans point to that are, they're enamored with his performance, they lost to the Rams in overtime. Now, credit to Richardson. He led a 15-point, 16-point comeback in the fourth quarter to tie the game. And then he got the ball back with less than 2 minutes and went 3 and out on 3 straight passes that stunk. Rams got the ball in overtime. Richardson never got a chance to win the football game. The game against the Texans, Colts fans are enamored with that. Oh, look at what he did. Well, they had a pretty nice scheduled out drive that was within the game plan that the Colts wanted to execute in those schedule worked on plays to start the game. And they matriculated down the field against quite a few backups, actually. And Anthony Richardson ran in a touchdown from 18 yards. The Texans fumbled the football. And then Anthony Richardson ran in a touchdown from 15 yards, took a big hit, said he's not going to change his play style this year. And then he went back out there, couple of nothings, and Anthony Richardson left a 14-7 football game. It's not like the Colts were just absolutely kicking the Texans' head in when Anthony Richardson left that football game. It was 14-7. Now, Gardner Minshew came in there, diced the Texans up. That didn't look good. That didn't feel good for the Texans, I'm sure. But it's not like Anthony Richardson was out here and he'd put up some 28-0 lead and the Texans got a whole bunch of garbage time after that to make the score look a little bit closer. His completion percentage is an atrocity. His consistency is not there. I just do not know why people are scared of Anthony Richardson, why he gets this immense amount of love. I would love to tell you that there is something that's really scary about Anthony Richardson, that I could tell you that even when he has issues passing, which he does, we saw it in the preseason game. So in the preseason game against the Bengals backups with starters in, Anthony Richardson had trouble hitting his guys consistently. He started 6 of 6. He finished with just 2 more completions. He threw an awful pick 6 in that game. Again, 2 backups. And then the one that has stuck with me out of the offseason and the preseason is the Cincinnati Bengals joint practice. And Bengals players are goading Anthony Richardson to throw the football. Please, bro, throw the football. He doesn't throw the football. All he does is run. He is not a confident and consistent thrower. And you cannot consistently win in the National Football League. Now, again, I'm talking about this in the grand picture of Anthony Richardson. As far as this week, without a lot to go off of, you've got to make sure that your defense is squared away and ready to go against this guy, because he's going to take off, because that's what he wants to do, and that's what he's comfortable doing. And again, I wish there was some way that I could explain that, hey, even when Richardson can't get the ball going in the air, he's a monster on the ground. And yes, he is. And let's just go back to college, okay? Because I don't have a lot of pro stuff to go off of. All right. So he has a big game on the ground against Utah, and he has a pretty decent day through the air, but it's not like, 17 completions, 168 yards. That's not amazing, but he was fantastic on the ground. But the next week against Kentucky, the Wildcats had him bottled up, and you can see it. He can't throw himself out of an issue. Now, again, this is college. It's a much better coach and a better team than a lot of what he played with at Florida. But even when he gets going on the ground, it's not efficient. He's got big numbers, but it's not efficient. You see it here in Tennessee. You go to Georgia, one of the toughest defenses, okay? Can't get loose on the ground. If you can slow down his ability to run the football, you can just beat the snot out of this guy, because he cannot throw his way into a victory with the Colts. And they've got a deeper wide receiver room, and this offensive line's healthy. I just don't believe he's got the juice through the air and the consistency through the air to keep the Colts within shouting distance. And I feel like this is a game where they're close. They're kind of playing catch up to the Texans, and Richardson makes a big mistake in the air. So if you can tell me why people are scared of Anthony Richardson, I'd love to hear it. I don't know why people are scared of Anthony Richardson. All right, am I back yet? I have no idea if the internet's working yet. Give me a thumbs up if you can see me again. But you could hear me when I was gone? Texans Tangent says, maybe a little worried about the Steichen and unpredictability of the Colts offense. Yeah, look, that is something that you can't account for. You've just got to trust that the defensive players that you have put on the field are ready for this. And you've got to be able to execute your defense the way you want to run it. It is coming down outside, so if I lose internet, that's why. You got to be able to execute the defense the way you want to execute the defense because you don't have a lot of game tape to go off of. You don't have a lot of stuff to go off of from Anthony Richardson's time in the NFL. The college stuff is not super helpful to you. Steichen and what he brought from Philadelphia is not exactly super helpful to you, but it's not useless. But Jalen Hurts and Anthony Richardson are very different guys. Very different guys. So it's not like it's a one-to-one comparison here. A couple of comments here. Get to some comments and get you caught up here. Johnny says Aziz and Petrie need to swarm. Absolutely. Absolutely. Brandon, good to see you. It is almost indeed game time. One game at a time. Absolutely. He put 2 TDs on the Texans last time. He sure did. He sure did. And then he had 2 very quick go punt, and then he was out of the game. Like, there's just not a lot of consistency to Richardson. And you can't beat this Texans team the way we think it's going to be constructed. You can't beat this Texans team if you're not going to have an extreme level of consistency. I just don't believe that you can beat this team if you're not going to be a super consistent offense. Like, this defense is going to be really tough. They're going to be hard to handle on the field. And it's going to be, as much as we talk about, hey, get ready, scheme for the Colts, you can't scheme for this Texans defense. You don't know exactly what it's going to look like if you're Shane Steichen. So again, they're kind of in the same realm as the Texans, where they've got to just try to execute what they can do. It's not so much trying to scheme and beat stuff for the Texans, and I'll tell you about that here in just a second. DeRhino has weighed in with a super chat. Thank you, DeRhino. Very excited for game week, and I believe we'll come out confident and polished, and here's my money. Thank you. Thank you, DeRhino. You're very kind, very generous. You're a great supporter of the channel. And yeah, it's game week here. We're having a blast. We're talking football. We're talking about Anthony Richardson. And you know, he's the boogeyman. He's like a football boogeyman. And look, maybe the boogeyman's real to some people, and it's scary, but he doesn't scare me. He doesn't scare me. Unpredictability is, yeah, it's scary. And Texans Tangents brings up, I think I'll turn into Lamar Jackson and the idea that Lamar wasn't a good QB to start. Look, maybe he can get better. Maybe he can get better in the consistency and in the passing. And certainly Lamar worked on that and got much better. He went from a 58% completion percentage his rookie year to 66, and he stayed above 66 basically his entire career. Lamar was also he's a bit more dynamic to me than what Richardson brings to the table. And he was a better thrower than Richardson in college to me. And I just don't believe he's like Richardson's going to be that level of guy anytime soon. He's physically incredible. He is a unicorn. And if he works, like, they're going to be in great shape, but I just don't see it. I don't see it. Gage says swarm the like button. It's the little thumbs up button. Hit that. Appreciate you. Yeah, this is kind of my thing. He's got a weird amount of hype for someone that's done nothing. He was not super consistent at Florida. He's really fast. He throws the ball far. He can hit a deep ball. But the consistent quarterbacking, he can't do that. He can't do that. Alluded with a good question. Who scored in the first touchdown? It was Stefon Diggs or Nico deep for 75. Well, wouldn't that be funny? You start this game off the way you started off the game last year at the end of the season or last season. It was same year. It was in January. Colts are going to fear CJ for a long time. Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. All right, couple of more questions here. Get to another point. Socrates, fear of the unknown. AR is like, well, a 2-year-old walking into a dark room. Grown-ups like the Texans know better. I like that. It's a good way to explain that. All right, so I'm caught up here on comments almost. I want to bring this up on the screen here. And credit to the General John McClain, who was talking with Landry Locker and myself in the media room today, and he brought this up. The Texans are going to have 9 different starters on defense from the last time they played the Colts. In January, actually 8 months ago to the day, pretty close to it, but pretty close to 8 months to the day. 9 different starters. Okay. Look at this. This is who started and who's starting in their place now. So the left side of my screen, which maybe is right to your screen, maybe it's the left side. Anyway, the Barnett, Collins, Rankin side, that's what started in January. So Will Anderson played but didn't start in that game because he was hobbled. He had the ankle injury. But look at this. Derek Barnett's replaced by Will Anderson. Malik Collins is replaced by Mario Edwards. Probably a downgrade. Sheldon Rankin's replaced by Foley Fatukasi. Probably a downgrade. Gary Hughes for Daniil Hunter. Big upgrade there. Christian Harris not playing. Henry To'o is. That's a little bit of a downgrade. Perryman out. Alshire in. Big upgrade there. Cashman out, Hansen in, downgrade there. I mean, Hansen hasn't proven it to the level that Cashman did by that time of the season. Injured Steven Nelson, rookie Kamari Lassiter. I'll call that one a push. And DeAndre Houston Carson and Jimmy Ward. I mean, look at the change that's going to be here. And the 2 starters that did start in January and will start on Sunday is Jalen Petrie and Derek Stingley. But look at the change that's going to happen in starters. And with the level of play that Hunter and Alshire bring to the table, scheming for the Texans is going to be nearly impossible. So shout out to the General John McClain for that one. We'll get to your questions here in just a second. Do want to tell you about my friends over at Prize Picks. Prize Picks, the link's in the description down below. Play your first 5, get $50. Thanks to my friends at Prize Picks. They've got the Caleb Williams free square in there as well. That one is nice and easy, just more than half a yard, and you find yourself with a very, very easy freebie in your Prize Picks entry. It is so much fun to play Prize Picks, and it is so easy to play Prize Picks as well. I want to show it for you. Just real simple right there on the NFL tab. You got all the different things this week. You got that Caleb Williams free square right there. He's going to be having a lot more than half a pass yard in his debut against the Tennessee Titans. We've already got some lineups put together for this one. We'll put another one together by the end of the week, but get your Prize Picks in on – I'm not even on the screen here. There I am. Get your Prize Picks in on the link in the description down below and use that code STOOTS, STOOTS, STOOTS. Play your first 5, get 50. You don't even have to win on the first 5 to get the 50. It's so easy. It's so much fun. It's the best way to play daily fantasy. It is Prize Pick. All right, questions here. Yeah, this weather sounds nasty. Hope everybody's staying good and hope the internet holds out here. All right. Hope we can get the running game going. You know, D'Amico Ryans talked about the rushing attack in the red zone, and that's something that I may research for the reporter's notebook for tomorrow is red zone attack and how they approached things last year and what they did. And I'd like to ask Bobby Slowick about that. He happens to be talking tomorrow, so that'll be good. All right. catch up here on where we are in the comments. He doesn't get to his second read before he takes off running, and instead of sliding, he thinks he can run people over. And he said he's not going to change his play style. He told Pat McAfee this summer, I'm not changing my play style. Okay, get hurt again then. Cody, is this the most excited you've ever been for a week 1 game? I'm always excited, but this season feels like we got a ton of expectations to hold up to. Thanks. It's the most excited I've seen the fan base. It's since the very first season of Texans football. It's the most excited I've been to cover the team. I've started covering the team. I got to cover them in Houston in person since 2014. Obviously, was covering them from afar before I got to Houston. So it's as far as what I know and Texans fans I know, the fever pitch is here. It's awesome. How are the Colts going to handle our receivers? They could barely handle the Texans when it was just Nico. Yeah, I don't know what the Colts are going to do now. I know that they like Kenny Moore. He's going to play a lot in the slot, and that'll be a fun matchup for Stefon Diggs. But I really don't know. I don't know a ton about their other guys. I know they're young guys, and I know they're kind of just trying to, bet on player development. They did not do anything to massively change that cornerback room. And they got a 2nd-round guy in Brents, and they've got a 7th-round guy in Jones. And then Kenny Moore is their dude at the inside corner and nickel spot. So they can't stop the Texans through the air. I mean, they're going to have to get to CJ if they're going to. They're not going to be able to stop the Texans. They don't have the guys that can guard long enough. So if CJ can use the pocket mobility, if the offensive line holds up from a pass rush standpoint, I don't know how CJ doesn't pick them apart. Will Bobby start out kind of bland with game plan or just full tilt? Well, it's what they can execute. And the offensive line hasn't played a ton together just yet. So what can they execute? What does Mixon know? He's practiced a lot, but he hasn't played in he hasn't practiced a lot and hasn't played in a game with this team yet. So it's what can they handle? I know Stroud can handle a lot. I know those wide receivers and the tight ends can handle a lot. So it's kind of a little bit of a balance. You'll think the way we handle AR's running will be a test to see how we handle Lamar Jackson. A little bit different guys. Lamar's more agility, and I think he's a more fluid runner. Richardson is speed and power, and I think they're different. They handled Lamar's rushing okay in the first game last year, and then he went nuts in the postseason. So, Dom from Jersey says, I have no idea how I'm going to get through the work the next few days. I'm jacked up. Yeah, you are. I know you're pumped. I know you're ready. Dom from New Jersey. Good buddy of mine there from the East Coast. Coming down for the Lions game. Do I have that right, Dom? The Lions game. Hey, can y'all do me a favor here while we talk about some questions? I got the link in the description down below. My buddy Will Kunkel had me on Kicking It with Kunkel, and myself, DJ BNMA, and Will, and we did a little season preview. We were live the other day and did a little season preview. Can you go into the comment section? Okay, go into the comment section. Throw them a thumbs up on the video. Links in the description down below. Go into the comment section, and let's see here. Last time we did like the logo. Let's do this. Go to the comment section and throw in a Go Duke beat Northwestern. Go Duke beat Northwestern if you can. Just, when you get a chance. And if you don't go watch the preview, go check it out. Kicking It with Kunkel, Fox 26. My buddy Will Kunkel puts that together. Yeah, beat Duke or beat Northwestern, Go Duke, or Go Duke beat Northwestern. One of those two. Something in the comment section. So throw that in there. Kunkel's a Northwestern guy. So he'll appreciate that. He will appreciate that. Branson Thomas says, I predict the first play from scrimmage is the same one that we scored with Week 18. If the Colts allow that, they will be miserable in Indianapolis. They will be miserable. Johnny says, feel like the preseason lasted forever this year. So happy we're kicking off on a Sunday. Look, it did last forever. I was talking with DJ Bieneme about this. Texans started early, so it felt even longer than it usually does. P. Nasty says, I'll admit it. I was wrong about CJ. I wanted Will Anderson Jr. and to move up for Anthony Richardson. Imagine if they had Will Anderson Jr. and Anthony Richardson, the Colts had CJ Stroud. That would not be fun. That would not be fun. Let's see here. Killer X God. Swarm that like button and bless you. Thank you, Killer X God. Yeah, the little thumbs up. Hit that. Hit that. All right, let's see here. This D's built to contain running QBs in the playoffs. I mean, we'll find out. They didn't. Now, again, it was a super injured team last year when they played Lamar, but a healthy team, they should be able to handle Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson isn't the danger. It's their coach, Steichen. Yeah, it's Steichen and it's Jonathan Taylor. Like, those guys are scary. Anthony Richardson's not scary. Those guys are scary. Jay Deuce says, Eric Murray will get replaced at halftime. I mean, if that's what you need to do, that's what you need to do. Make the move. What part of town are you in? I'm near the Galleria in Greenway. Murray McDougal asks a crappy question. If CJ goes down, please God, no. I hope you knocked on the wood when you asked that, Murray. How far can Davis Mills take us? $5 million seems really cheap, but really we're not doing championships with him, are we? No, you're not winning the championship with Davis Mills. No. Davis Mills is here because he meets the backup quarterback standard. And to me, the backup quarterback standard is if your guy's gone for 4 weeks, can the backup get you to 2-2? And I believe Mills can. Can the backup get you to 2-2 if your guy's gone for 4 weeks? I believe he can. So that's to me why Davis Mills is here. I feel like that was a really good deal for Davis Mills, a really good deal for the Texans as well. So, okay. Don from New Jersey, what's our realistic expectation for Diggs? I don't think he'll be wide receiver 1 or prime Diggs, but I think exactly what we need to take the next step. Yeah, reading that GQ article and talking about him yesterday, I'm not also sure that he's not ready to kind of get close to Buffalo. He's not going to get Buffalo because he's not going to have the targets and the volume. But I do feel like he's going to lead in catches, playing out of the slot and playing outside. Sometimes he just was unguardable in camp. Sometimes. Engineer says Anthony Richardson and Trevor Lawrence have both been clowned by NFL players regarding their inability to read past their first option. Not good. Not good. You need that. H-Town's Ultimate. NRG's almost 30 years. What would you like to see renovated to improve the fan experience? Well, I'm fat, so I wish the seats were bigger, but they're not going to do that. What would I want to see? They've done a pretty good job. They've changed up the video boards in the past few years and gotten that squared away. The concession stands are awesome. I don't know. Good question. Let me think on that, H-Town's Ultimate. Let me think on that. And speaking of the fan experience can go to the next level when you use Autograph. What is Autograph? Well, be a fan, get rewarded. It's a app that is free to use, free to download, and it puts all your Texans content, including mine, all in one place. It puts it all in one place so you can read, listen, and watch, and then you earn rewards. And what do you turn those rewards in for? Well, discounts at local businesses, discounts on tickets, and maybe even free tickets. And plus, when you use the Autograph ticketing app, you never pay for fees. You never pay for fees when you use the ticketing app in the Autograph. So get into the Autograph app. When you sign up, use my code Stoots, S-T-O-O-T-S. That's code Stoots, S-T-O-O-T-S. Get to watching and reading and listening about the Houston Texans or your other favorite teams. Earn rewards and turn them in for tickets. How's that sound? Sounds pretty good. It's like an arcade of knowledge. You go in there, learn about your team, talk about your team with some of your other fans in there, watch some of your stuff, listen to your podcast, listen to me, watch me in there, earn rewards, get free tickets. Sounds pretty good to me. Check it out. Link in the description down below. Free to use, free to download. But use that code Stoots when you get signed up with the Autograph app. Real big rewards for real fans. Check it out. It's Autograph. Tom Brady backs it. You know it can't fail. He doesn't back losers. Wait a second. Where are you from, boy? From here. I was born in Tennessee, but I grew up in Texas. Lived in Texas since I barely learned to walk in Tennessee, but since I've learned to walk, I've been in Tennessee. Not a native Houstonian. Wasn't born here. Wasn't my choice. A lot of people on Twitter were hating on the Davis Mills contract. People were saying stuff like waste a $5 million contract in death cap. Didn't we give a $6 million contract to Ford and no one was complaining? Ford was not making that much money. If it was his total value over 2 years. It's not a bad deal. It's really not. I mean, it's a little bit more than what Flacco got in free agency and what Winston got in free agency. And Drew Lock got exactly $5 million. And Carson Wentz got less than $5 million. It's not a bad investment. They believe that they can win games. Can't win a championship, but they believe they can win games with Davis Mills. So don't let him leave. Don't let him leave. Let's see here. What's with the JJ vid on socials? Preseason hype thing, not an announcement, surely. JJ's not playing for the Texans. Come on. Hey, look at all y'all. Y'all already watched Kicking It with Kunkel. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Fantasy question. Sure. Gonna start Najee Harris at Atlanta or Raheem Mostert from Jacksonville. I mean, Mostert's the dude until Mostert's not the dude. You know? Mixon house call be an epic start to the game. Boy, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? I mean, 28 down the field, that'd be great. Nathan asks, Cody, what would you have done if Abilene Christian had beaten Texas Tech? Be honest, Cody. Might have checked out on the Tech season, probably. Probably might have checked out on the Tech season. Is Henry To'o ready to go? Yes. Check out Landry. I'm sure we'll play the video tonight. Landry had a really good interview with To'o, and To'o was very honest about how he wasn't where he wanted to be last year in that final game, and he's in a much better spot. So make sure you check out the locker room, Landry Locker. He's got a funny interaction with Henry To'o that you don't want to miss. Texans Tangents, best offseason ever. I'm ready for the games. Bandwagon hype is weird as a Texans fan. Yeah, I mean, look, fans show up when fans show up. If you win, you get more fans. That's how it works across the league. And hey, teach the new fans something because they're probably catching up here. Ready to see the Texans run game? You and me both. It has not looked good in the preseason. I'm cautiously optimistic about it, and that's a really tough front seven. So hopefully I'm wrong. 713TX skills. JT will go off, and so will CJ and Dell and Diggs and Collins. All right, big points day. Big points day. How can you guard Nico and Steph going deep plus Colts secondary? It's decent, not the best. Decent would be generous in saying about the Colts secondary. Mills has plenty of weapons. Yeah, if he has to come in again, I feel like Davis Mills could win 2 games out of a 4-week absence. Like if CJ had to miss time, I think Mills could win 2 games. I don't believe in Davis Mills like, oh yeah, he should be a starter. But can he go out there and execute and win 2 games with this team? Sure. Anything you've seen from CJ in the preseason camp suggest a sophomore slump? Oh no. No, it suggests that he's going to be really nasty. That's what it actually suggests. John G said, had a lively discussion about our big three contracts coming up. Do you feel it's possible to sign all three and still have a team, or should we expect at least one of them to play elsewhere? Thank you. John, I'm assuming you mean Derek Stingley, Will Anderson, and CJ Stroud. It is possible to sign all three of them, yes. So, I mean, Stingley, if healthy, should get close to $90 million, and obviously Anderson and Stroud are going to be huge deals. It's possible. You're gonna lose some spots elsewhere. You're gonna lose some opportunities to go get some free agents and things like that, but it's possible, yeah. And they should do that. If Stingley plays an entire season and he's healthy, they should sign him to a big contract. Texans Tangent says, downloaded autograph. So time efficient for my Texans addiction. Good to hear. Thank you. Thank you. Duke giving me a Houstonian pass. I appreciate that, Duke. Who's the kick returner, punt returner on the team? Do you think this year Sting gets his respect? He's got to stay healthy. If he's healthy, he'll get every bit of respect. He'll take every bit of respect that is owed to him. So if he stays healthy, he's in. Kick returner and punt returner. Punt returner, I think, is initially going to be Steven Sims. If he is not active or not out there, it will be Tank Dell. Kick returner, Sims and Pierce, and maybe a little bit of Akers and Daria Gumbawale. Surprise player for the season, going British Brooks as fullback, maybe Steven Sims, Stover. Maybe not. Is a huge surprise who you got. Surprise player. Mario Edwards. He'll do enough. Nosh, good to see you. No comparison to Brock Osweiler in terms of the bad contract. Yeah. Not good. Not good, that Osweiler contract. Had to pay someone to take it away. What's your opinion on Steven Sims? I mean, he's a return specialist. He's not consistent enough at wide receiver, so he's a return specialist. What's the plan for the Cowboy game? Are y'all coming up to the DFW? Yeah, I mean, my plan is here's my plan for the Cowboys game. A ton of my college friends live in Dallas. I never get to spend a Red Zone Sunday with them. So I'm going to spend a Red Zone Sunday with my buddies in Dallas. Hopefully I meet a bunch of you yahoos out Monday for some lunch and then go to the game and watch the Texans beat the Cowboys. Who do you want to hand Hannah and Cal this trophy in the Super Bowl? Oh man, because they always have like a legend come out and do it. Earl's not in good enough health. He played for the Saints as well as obviously the Oilers. He's a Houston legend, but he's not in good enough health to do it. Ooh, I don't know. That's a good question. Come back to me when they make the playoffs. I'll have an answer for you. I forgot about Brock Osweiler. And yeah, Houston, we have a QB. It's not fun. That was not good. The real question is, who is going to hold up Zaire Franklin? He's coming for CJ. Yeah, Zaire Franklin, EJ Speed, and those Colts linebackers and their podcast, man, they're coming for CJ. He better be ducking microphones out there in XLR cords. Yeah, if the Jags can pay a bunch of guys, the Eagles are the standard here. The Eagles pay everybody, and somehow they still have more money to do cool stuff. So the Eagles are the standard here. A couple of more questions. I think the O-line can protect CJ whatsoever. They struggle with the pass rush. I'm not worried about pass blocking as much as I'm worried about run blocking with them. I think Bullock plays 90% of the defensive snaps this week and on a regular basis. No. He's going to work up to some more, but he's not going to play that much right away. Just join, but is Will 100%? Will he for sure play Sunday? It seems like he's always banged up, which is a good start to his career. He's not always banged up. I think that's a misnomer. He got hurt at the end of last year, and he's not on the injury report. So I think he's closer to 100 than 90, and Will Anderson's good to go. Andre handing the trophy to him would be great. Yeah, I mean that's probably the best answer. Will they be a kickoff return for a touchdown week 1? Probably not. That might be a worthwhile parlay to make. Prize player for me, Henry To'o. I think D'Amico's been working with him. Will Anderson's spoken about how much of a leader he was at Alabama. Yeah, and if he's improved his body and he's physically more impressive than he was, then yeah, he could be a better player than he was last year. You think Mechie gets traded or will he finish his contract in Houston? Also, if Diggs has a great year, do you think he gets re-signed? No, if Diggs has a great year, he'll be somewhere else, highly compensated. I don't know what Mechie's going to do. Mechie's got to go out there and show something before we worry about where Mechie's going to go. What type of season do you expect out of Will Anderson? Double-digit sacks and a constant hand grenade presence on defense. This is a big thing, Function. I think with a good coach like D'Amico Ryans will be able to pay players, develop lower drafted or paid players. Yeah, that's the hope. That's the hope. Oh, Don, you saw this. The Survivor Series. I love that we call it the Survivor Series. Thank you. The Survivor Pool is active. In the description of this video, you can sign up for the Survivor Pool. So it's down there. It's right after the prize picks and the autograph links. Okay. So you join the Survivor Pool. You just click the link. The password is Houston. 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 So the Survivor Pool is active. Get in there. You can join it. You can join it until Sunday morning. So get in there. Send it to all your friends. If you beat me in the Survivor Pool, you'll win something. What is it? You'll find out. But if you beat me in the Survivor Pool, you win something. If you're the biggest winner in the Survivor Pool, you're the last person remaining, you'll win an additional item or items. So yeah, the Survivor Pool is open. Brandon likes Petrie for the surprise player. And new position, man, he could be ready to rock. He could be ready to rock. I got a 5-player parlay for this game this weekend. I needed to hit. Gamble responsibly, Sean. And if you want to put a prize pick entry together, you can use the code Stoots, STOOTS, at the link in the description down below. And then Seth, yes, I saw this. There's a place in Alvin to get a fried Monte Cristo. Yeah, I will have to find Monte Cristos across Houston and make sure that we have an official Monte Cristo, information board somewhere. So I will effort us all the Monte Cristo information we can find. I feel like they're going to test the locksmith avoiding Derek Stingley and pay for it. They very well could. That would be a bad idea. Test the locksmith. Okay, a little housekeeping here. Who are your Texan defensive player of the year, offensive player of the year, most improved? Defensive player of the year, Anderson. Offensive player of the year, Stroud, but we'll go Mixon. And most improved, Petrie. Lunch on me if it hits. I like that. Thank you, Sean. All right, housekeeping for everybody. Prize picks. Code Stoots, STOOTS. Play your first 5, get 50. Link in the description down below. Autograph, one-stop shop for all your Texans content, including mine. And the Autograph ticketing app, never use fees. Never pay for fees for tickets ever again. The Autograph ticketing app is the way to go. Survivor Pool is open. Check it out. Go check out Kicking It with Kunkel. Throw some comments in there. Have some fun with Kunkel in the comment section of Kicking It with Kunkel. And what am I missing? I think that's it. Locker room's coming up here on YouTube, so don't miss that. Fun stuff with Landry coming up. He's asking some real good questions out there in the locker room, some good stuff. Got the coordinators at the podium tomorrow. Maybe Stefon Diggs tomorrow. So it should be an intriguing Thursday. Don't forget Houston football. Sign up at Houston football. $7 a month to get everything Man, I'm loving the writing and putting all the stuff together on Houston football. It's a blast, man. I love covering this team, and thank you everybody. I hope I say thank you enough. I hope I said thank you enough, and I appreciate it, and appreciate everybody stopping in and checking in and stopping by is probably what I meant to say. Yeah, this is fun. We're going to do a lot more lives over the course of the season. We're going to have some fun stuff. We're going to do some stuff with Landry. You don't want to miss any of it. So subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of it. Throw the thumbs up on the video. And we end the live streams the same way each and every time. This is my hope for you. This is my charge for you as well. I want you to eat good. I want you to sleep good. I want you to be good. We'll talk Texans again soon. Thanks for watching, everybody.